Yuri, please, I saw you coming. For me, it's enough for me, to speak.
Yeah, thank you. And my slides will be like the next one.
Yeah, the next one. They should be.
Just a second. Okay. So welcome everyone. It will be my first event when I will be joined as a speaker. So I glad that I have this chance. Yeah. And of course, I see like a lot of great people around it. Definitely doing a great job because we have only one option to proceed it with the same idea, to have more founders, more investors that have a female-driven ideas that definitely have a lot of potential right now. And today I will share some ideas and facts and examples how it already works and why it's very important right now to thinking about something to start. Of course, start with maybe idea with a great co-founder that you can meet today on this event, maybe have a chat just, and then it will eventually come up to the idea of fundraising. So the future is female. It's idea that's definitely is have a lot of flexibility in terms of how you can interpret it and how you can make it in terms of real examples. And today my story will be about real examples. And the funny story that I have my daughter today, Natalie. She is an example for the future that's is female. Yeah, thank you so much. And the funny story that I chat today with my daughter and ask her, what do you think my job is about? She's thinking, and tell you you have a lot of calls, you have a lot of meetings, you're doing crazy conversation about the business. I don't understand what it's all about, but maybe that's how the future starts. You've seen the examples, some models, some ideas, and eventually you find out your way to the great path of your example. A little bit about myself. So back in the days, I started with the idea of venture capital. It was simple with one book. It's called venture capital from the creators of the Techstars Boston. It was an amazing book because it has a lot of examples, real cases, how it works, etc. Then I come up to idea to spend my money to go to the Berkeley University and educate myself properly about this topic because I feel that's how the future looks like. That's something that I really want to belong. And of course, I have a lot of experience with companies like Uber, Google for startups, and startup-wise guys that's doing a crazy, amazing job in terms of their business and project, etc. But again, today is not the topic of discussion about these companies because we know that the female is the future. And if we're talking about the future, I have a great example. My GP inside the fund TA Ventures, she's female, Victoria Tigipka. Of course, she started out this business back in the day when it's not so popular. It was 2010 when she started her own venture fund, invest her own money in startups, and basically seeing the whole reality. She's seen a lot of the complexity in terms of venture capital because it was all about people that are white, over 40 years old, male, and trying to do some crazy stuff, but not sharing it all. And what she did, and I think it's amazing. She started step by step to build the relations. Relations first of all, not with investors but with the founders because they are amazing examples of visionaries that can drive force to change the whole landscape. And right now, I think it's very great that she has these sort of numbers and traction results together with our team because over the 70 exits, 6 IPO right now inside the portfolio, we have 11 unicorns and 20 unicorns is a company with valuation over than 100 millions. And it's like that, working every day, every week, when we come up with the idea of investing in some great startups, we have different discussion instead of board meeting, etc. but we have a lot of co-investors. We have a lot of founders that already have exit with us. So we have a lot of different minds that we can use for the power of due diligence to understand the better thing that we want to work with. And all of these, over than 3,000 investors, they have story behind with the TA Ventures, and they have successful fails. That's not just about exits and capital gain, but again, that's how it works. And the key source right now of the venture capital deals for us is, of course, the network of founders that already have successful traction result with us. They personally start to invest their own money, so they have skin in the game. They're not just showing company, they basically invest in this company and allow us also to join these companies. And once we have this selection process go through this funnel, we have ICLUB. So ICLUB, it's a community of angel investors that also want to have the same feel and vibe about this sort of layer of venture capital that's completely sometimes not visible, because we have a lot of examples of company that open up the funding round in just 7 days. They close everything with a proper lead, with the proper core investors. And of course, for ICLUB, we've shown this sort of deal that have a lot of exposure, potential, and they are great examples of female-driven idea with STEM and etc. company that generate great product, great results, EBITDA, they becoming profitable. And I will show you today some examples as well. So if we're talking about, if we're talking about our ICLUB community, what is that all about? So we have over than 1,000 members. We have over than 40 countries right now of our co-investors. It's mostly Europe, Central Asia, Asia, and of course we have over than 80 investments. And right now we have 8 exits, not 7 exits, but 8 exits that we have already listed, and generate a lot of returns to our investors. And of course we have right now potentially 2 upcoming great exits. And definitely it's all about the idea that when you meet these people that are join our community, they also pretty successful in what they doing as well, because they have offline business, they have different kind of stages of the companies. But amazing thing that the female rate in our community, it's 46% of all the investors that has exits, they are female, and that's proven metric that they can choose right company. They can definitely have precise selective feel about industries, how it evolves, etc. So it's completely clear that it's the path that we can be transparent with you, and definitely telling you that that's the future. That's sometimes our investors, when I ask them about how they choose in a company, they telling me a lot of great insights about their feeling on the specific topic, specific industry, specific founders. And of course, my feel about that we will see a lot of great example as well. Maybe even in a few years in Cyprus, that we'll see next unicorns, next companies that go in public as well, because there is a lot of potentials. And my question maybe to audience, have you ever have a chance to feel this fundraising strategy, a process of fundraising with your company? If you have, maybe you can raise your hand. So you raise the money for your startups. Okay, who else also raise the money for your startups or for your company? Okay, another question. Do we have here some founders that already have company established? Yeah, also? Yeah, great. And another question that I also want to give you as an idea, maybe you have a plan to start the company next 5 years, maybe a few more. That's amazing. So I think today my discussion will be mostly about examples and some lessons learned that I have already from the constantly seeing these companies and why they're so successful, not just about the product, the performance, but also about their fundraising strategy. So first company that I'd like to share, it's Impress. It's a company that's back in the days in 2018 or 19, started with 2019. they just eventually start with the idea. They want to build a global business that can easily transform digital health, not just from the offline perspective, but mostly with the idea that they just go in through the mobile phone application experience, and of course, go through different countries. At the beginning of this year, I also was in Spain, and in Spain, it's everywhere. It's constantly growing company. And the beauty about this company it was founded by female founders, so it's amazing job. And I feel they also help this guy to become more handsome. I think so they already have a lot of impact for people around, and of course their technology pretty robust. Right now they already launched their presence inside US market. By the way, this girl is wife of Cristiano Ronaldo. She's the official ambassador of this company. And I feel that, this story, when you seen this, just an idea, back in the days, when it just started out with zero revenue, it was a vision about the founders, clear understanding about the industry, clear understanding about the problem, how it works right now, and how the digital experience can change everything dramatically. But again, right now it's already proven strategy because they have great institutional investors like Unica Capital, etc. That's completely clear about this vision. And of course, they have a lot of traction, the result that generate revenue. And we see this as a chance for us to have next unicorn inside our portfolio. Another story, it's Gameta. It's amazing, great company because the founder itself, she was back in the day in MIT, the doctor's level person that researched this topic of fertility, because this topic is crucial for women's health. There is a lot of research right now that's happening across globe that's showing that the traction numbers of the diseases like cancer, etc., growing significantly when this topic appears on the radar. And of course the company is already on track with their development. They already have prototypes, they already have the FDA stage of approval of their medicine, and she's been recognized as the most influential person that's driven this topic upcoming. So my lessons learned from this company, maybe for you, will be if you've seen the problem that's interact with you, and there is no one can solve this problem, or you can't find the solution, so that's your maybe recognition to start something. Because if there is something that you've seen constantly that it's unfair, that there is issues with the health, or maybe with a lot of different kind of environment things and a lot of different kind of topic around, so please doesn't skip this. That's maybe your chance to start something amazing. Of course, it's question about the founders, etc., but it's also your responsibility to doesn't pass through the condition that doesn't solve. Sometimes, especially with biotech companies like that, it was not completely clear how it can be solved. But right now, with the reality of the digital health growth, with the biotech trends, because of the COVID-19 era, when we have a lot of funds, etc., mRNA, is all of these development changed dramatically whole the medicine and landscape. So we've seen that these companies like Meta using AI, etc., will change the whole medical system as well. So that's a great reality. So definitely, I want to tell you that you need to check this company, because also the founder right now, she decided to pass this pre-approved her product testing through her own body. So that's mean she completely trusted her own development, her own idea. So she's the first who will be tested as a human for her own body of her product. So that's amazing. Another company, it's definitely my love mark story, because it's not just about co-investors that we have in this company, because we have Ashley Graham, the number one like plus size model globally who invest in this company with us. We invest like in this company a bit early, but this company like is growing significantly. And the beauty about this company that they achieved a lot of recognition because they eco-friendly, environment-friendly, like of course especially like made product for the kids, and of course anti-allergy, everything like and these companies growing also rapidly. The last time that they raised money, right now they already profitable. They run their operational business in US and North America, and of course the story that you can learn about that the money that you raise from the individuals, it's not just can come from the venture capital pockets. It also can come from the individuals that have audience, they have exposure that you can use also as a power for yourself, because it's exactly important that you can read them out in very direct format that they will already trust it with. So today that's examples of female founded startups, and of course female oriented company that's amazingly that we have inside our portfolio. It's not all of them, but I want to to have a lot of things about the ours. Maybe I want to switch about the whole market condition right now that we have. So first of all, if we're talking about the fundraising this year, it's a crucial condition, because as you can see, if you start something like back in the days 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was easier to raise the money for your company, because the metrics that investors, especially institutional like VC funds, etc., looking for was very low. Right now, they changed dramatically, especially for the growth stage. So that's mean that's it will be not easy. Telling you clear that it will be not easy, but today I will give you some ideas on how you can hack the system and get more perspective on the result that you want to achieve. Another part that very important also to understand that the trends itself and industry changing dramatically. Look, we have comparison of 2021 and 2023. Of course, SaaS have the same size and level, in terms of investments, etc. So it's still interesting, because SaaS is eating the world still. We've seen how our life changing dramatically with the software inside our phone, with the software that our company is using. Everyone feel that AI is still a big thing, investing a lot of money in this direction. So it's go all inside these sort of layers. But look, what you can also recognize that, for example, companies that has a fintech layer, that's still great, that they have accomplished with a great result, but not so successful. And explanation is simple, because the market density of products already reached the layer of growth that no one able to show this exponential growth rapidly. We have everyone already application side our phone for banking. We have everyone inside transportation application inside our pocket. So acquisition of new audience will be complex for the fintech completely right now, and the new technologies and ideas will be also very dramatically complex to show this traction for the investors. So that's the reality. Also, it's very important to understand that the consumer space, it's still looks the same. Of course, there is a lot of impact through the inflation, etc. But that doesn't mean that we, as the potential audience of this product and services, still are not looking for something new. We're still considering something that can, for example, save our money, generate some, of course, efficiency for us, and that's still continuously evolve through this year. And the next year will be look like more the same for sure. If we are talking about down rounds, I don't know, if you're familiar or not, but once the company is raising first money, they need to probably raise the second funding round if they are not profitable. So that's the reality that we're seeing right now in terms of how many companies decide to shrink their valuation in terms of caps, in terms of size of the funds, etc. So reality is the following. So crypto, it's the first company listed that 30% of this company funding round that we seen last year was completely about shrinking the valuation. And of course, answering the question, why so? It's basically also simple because the growth stage is hard. It's very difficult, especially for the company that doesn't reach profitability, that doesn't show in the traction result in terms of growth, that doesn't allow to leverage the gap in terms of acquisition and of course, customer retention, etc. So my feeling that we will be still in the similar condition because right now, of course, there is a lot of money on the market. There is still yet a lot of VC funds that have great and amazing money on their pocket. But what we will see this year, that we will see less unicorns appears on the radar. Maybe some of the huge names that and familiar with this, maybe they will fill up the bankruptcy. Because in my opinion, it's the reality that we've seen right now, specifically this year, it's already different. And the market condition and the behavior of the customers is different because we've seen a lot of changes, not just with the war agenda, but also with the idea of AI, etc. So even the growth stage company, it's very, very complex for them to adopt. So my feeling about that is simple, that's the new company, the new venture ideas and startups will have more attention. They have more potential to growth because they can and willing to adapt very fast with AI. So please, pay attention, for that reason. But these numbers, it's mostly for the growth stage, for the company that, for example, already exceed the series B, D, C. So that's the reality for them. Another topic that I would like to highlight that's also proven metric that coming from the open source information that we have shrinking the size of the venture investment. For the last year, it's around 60% that's company raised through the funding round. But the good news, the institutional investors, big one, like BlackRock, etc., they updated everyone about their willingness to invest this year. And why so? It's simple because we have a bottom line of the market. We see that this company that's WeWork doesn't work in terms of profitability, doesn't work in terms of reality, how they can earn money to investors. But again, that doesn't mean that that's the signal, great signal for the people that has the money to invest, because when you invest on the bottom market, you are investing with a great profitability. Of course, you will see a lot of chance to have a returns, to have a great exits, and of course, multipliers for your investments. So if we are talking about also funds, it's very important for you, especially for those who are planning to start their own companies 5 years. So I'm asking you, please, thinking about your idea only maybe already today or this week or this month, because in 5 years, something will change dramatically. Condition can change dramatically, and it will be differently environment for your execution. So in my opinion, right now, it's amazing chance, but avoid, maybe it's really not right to communicate, but avoid firsthand to communicate with venture capital funds. Because what I also see right now, there is a lot of zombie VCs that invest actively on the hyped market. You see, this 2021. So they distribute a lot of capital from their funds. Right now, they already have the shrinked valuation of their companies. Maybe they have great portfolio with the names, but doesn't mean that they can show the traction numbers, in terms of IRR, showing something for investors. So what I see right now in Silicon Valley, there is a lot of partners that left in the venture capital funds. There is a lot of issues with emerging funds because what they did, they start their journey in not the best condition, because once you start the journey on the hyped market, you will see the downside as well. It doesn't mean that the market will recover, but right now, it's a great option for everyone to thinking about their ideas, because you are starting in a great market condition that's fair enough to do something great. And of course, you have a lot of technologies around that you can use for, ChatGPT, etc. All of that, ChatGPT marketplace, etc. All of that can be used for the purpose. Like in 2021, there was nothing like that at all. And if we're talking about like also valuation side, as you can see, pre-seed and seed stage funding valuation is still like, growing. And in my opinion, like, it's fair enough that the market and of course investors betting on the company that can already showing something that can works with a new market condition. And like today, like we chat with about this company. I don't know if you're familiar with its company Shane. They like completely crazy growing, like numerous numbers and like growing profitable in different countries like US market, etc. So they already shown their traction results for their new reality. And if we're talking about growth stage, of course, it's not so like good in terms of like right now valuations perspective and numbers of funding round that they closing, but it will change because once we will see the reality of new companies that potential will start from this presentation, from your just idea that you can facilitate, it will definitely will help a lot to provide this like especially for the consumers and consumers like efficiency, great results in terms of what they can use for the purpose. And of course right now there is a lot of tools, a lot of things. So to start your company, you don't need to have like extra 50 100K to just invest. You can start like as a side hustle and see how it evolves, because like right now it is a great time. So if we're talking about my experience for the past few years, like we as ICLUB, we committed more than 20 million to the startups through our investment inside the startups on early stage, on growth stage. And like beauty about the ICLUB is the following: you can see all of these founders on the private calls, ask them questions, see how they pitch in their product, see how they can evolve their product in terms of like flexibility and technology, what they're using for. For example, like most of the time right now they not acquire users with a Facebook or advertisement or Instagram. Right now they go into TikTok because it's simple for consumer brand. Or for example, like they already using a lot of partnership mechanics for the B2B companies, because it's proven also that can speed up everything. Like not just working with the individual customers with B2B, but also going to like with a cohort of customers that can easily be reached through the communities. And if we're talking about like thing that you should avoid, like first thing that I see constantly like as a mistake. So people trying to be focused about themselves, like about their product. So how it looks like in reality. You are meeting VC fund or like angel investors or great founders that has a lot of money because he is growing his company in significant size, and started out to have a pitch about your product, like telling him like, look, I have this app, this amazing idea, we will earn a lot of money, etc. On this sort of condition, like investors don't have a link with you. Most of the time, investor doesn't even understand the industry about your company or idea. He's completely not familiar about what exactly, like, or how exactly it works. So please doesn't focus on your product. And what I've seen also from these sort of exercises, once you have a conversation, when you feel that you are talking over than 50% of the time, that will be a dead end for this conversation, because it will be just a monologue that you're trying to approach for someone. So it's like, it can easily be trained with a mirror, but doesn't work with the actual person. So please avoid that, like, thinking about the questions, think about like industry that you are focusing with, how it works, like, try to a bit invest your resource and time to educate these investors about what exactly you're working with, how you're planning to do so they will be more familiar with about why so it's importantly right now to focus on. Of course, the second, like the crucial mistake that I've seen most of the time, that's people are investing a lot of resource on spray and pray format for your pitch deck. So they are using outreach tools to just share their pitch deck and telling them, guys, we are building this product, please invest in us. We've seen that you are active investor, etc. No, that doesn't work, like, because most of the time, like, that investor doesn't want to see just a product. They want to see how you're evolving. And also, it's very important to understand that if, for example, even you find the investors that interested about your companies, about your idea, it doesn't mean that you will close this deal in just 7 days. It will take time, of course, with the legal, with etc., with the other co-investors. So please, do it slowly, and not to be sale, but not for sale, because if you are starting to spray your pitch deck, it's just like a discounted offer for the investors, like you trying to push them about. So please avoid that. And amazingly, that I also constantly seen right now that we are entering more smart approach right now without hustle. So folks that was completely focusing on hype, to pumping their coins, to pumping their projects about something that they have and no one have at all and doesn't understand, that's completely dead end. Because maybe I will be very frankly, but the douchebag areas is over. So smart female founders with a great attitude and smart driven ideas will win this race, because no one will care about folks that just have an idea about great name like we work. That's the reality. If we're talking about the opposite direction that you should consider for yourself, and it's very important for you today to focus on about. The first is simple, and I will interpret it in different kind of format for you so you can understand. If investors doesn't invest their time to conversation with you as a founder, they will never invest their money. So that's very simple. So if you're trying to show in something and ask for the money, it will end up without completely clear understanding from the investor side what is the link path. So the better for you maybe to start with asking an advice. Because once you will have these people that started out to be curious about your company, about your vision, when they started to read your update constantly, they started thinking about your, and maybe have a chat with you on coffee, etc. That's a good sign that you're on the right path, because these people are curious about your industry, about the problem, what you're solving. And of course, you have a chance and potential to win not just their attention, but their money, because in investors' world, time is money. So that's simple. Another thing, of course, I would like to everyone, as I mentioned to you, we're not trying to compete with someone. Please avoid any competition, because once you are checking your competitive landscape, it's better not just recognize them. It's better to have friend relation with the founders of these companies. Maybe write to them through the LinkedIn, that tell them look, I see the same problem. Let's chat about that. Let's be frankly, I see a lot of issue with our product. Because look, the situation is the following. If you are thinking about the founders, for example, or company that very large one, etc., all of these competitors can be your potential investors. That's simple. They see that you are doing something, you find out the way how to solve this problem better. So they rather maybe thinking about acquisition or investment inside your company than just competition. So competitive mindset also is something that I think coming from the age of this hybrid market, that everyone try to telling that they don't have a competitors. No, you have. Everyone right now has already phone, have already some application inside their phone and pocket. So please be friendly with your competitors. That's the reality that you're entering. And of course, you should thinking about a thing that's at the beginning of your venture process for the fundraising. Expertise is very important, but the money that you have on the table, sometimes they can completely ruin your reality, because you can find, for example, investors that doesn't understand this venture capital, how it works, etc. And for example, take 30% of your companies on early stage, or maybe 70%. That's the dead end, because you'll never lose this relation at all, because it's like a marriage. It's better to play this game wisely. And how you can play this game? Look, you can start with the research. You can find the founders that have exits from your industry, from your verticals for the past 5 years, and approach them and ask them advice, because they can invest the money. And once these sort of folks will join your company as investors, as angel investors, these VC funds that has great traction result with these founders definitely will join this company as well. So like this works this way. So please avoid going first to the venture capital funds, like rather like, thinking about these folks that has experience that you want to obtain, because for example, you don't have exit experience before. So it's better to have someone on the board that have the similar experience that you want to have. And of course, if we're talking about money itself, like, right now we have a lot of issues with the source of funds for the investors, etc. So please be aware that it can also bring you a lot of issues, because once you take in money from not proper investors that, for example, have some PEP-related money on the board, etc., you or maybe sanction-listed people inside their investment cap table, so your company can be easily listed inside sanction list as well. You are the person, you have a responsibility, and of course, be aware that this game can be tricky, of course. And again, like, what I would like to suggest you to have as an idea, like, to deep dive with the industry, because there is a lot of communities about specific verticals, specific like points that you can engage with and deep dive about the industry. And once you have the great relations, you can build your upcoming fundraising strategy. And if you're hearing, for example, from investors that they don't want to invest inside your companies, please do not give up. It doesn't mean nothing like at all, because at some period of time, they, for example, not able to understand your vision or your product, etc. But that doesn't mean like, that they are willing to come back to you. And you can also ask them perspective, for example, if they will tell you no, like on what condition you're willing to come back for us to consider this company. For example, they can share, okay, if you have traction result, or for example, okay, if you have, additional 500K already committed, we are ready to step in and deep dive properly your company and maybe join this syndicate. But in your reality, that means that they have a soft commitment. So they're willing to consider your company to investment. So add this smart question on a further step, like, how much on average you invest in this sort of company that we are. Like, and that will bring you reality that for the next investors, you not just approach with empty list of co-investors. You already tell them that, like, look, we discussed some information with these investors, and they're willing to join once we raise this sort of amount. So that's completely different reality that you come in with something rather than nothing. And of course, investors want to know that if, for example, the founder know how to build proper product, they also willing to run this fundraising, because for the startups, most of the time, it doesn't over at all. Like, you're just constantly thinking about how to do the next funding round before you reach the profitability stage or IPO, but it's completely different scenario. So that's like shorthand about feeling what I have as a like conclusion of things that you are feeling about, as a fundraising process. But most of the time, it's like in-person relations with each investors that you can build the great relations as friends, etc. I think like, with women in tech, you have a lot of great expertise, and of course, C-level executives that are already on board. Maybe they're willing to invest as well. And I'm sure you, like, by basically joining this sort of community, you have great exposure for your idea. And of course, to build this relation that been trusted, not coming with just idea of raising money, but with coming with your potential individual, your vision, your product, etc. So it end up with a clear sign off of the term sheet, and of course, with the raising funding money. So today is over. Maybe, I don't know if you have any questions.